If you are serious about getting fitter on the bike, then following a structured training program is the way to go. Having all of your training sessions written down in advance, as well as your goals, will keep you very motivated, especially if those goals are something like a race or a sportive.
So here are 7 things to think about when you sit down to write your first ever training plan. We'd probably all like to spend more time out on our bikes, but before you commit to a structured training plan, it's worth looking at your weekly schedule to work out realistically how much time and how many hours you can commit to training.
Yeah, obviously work, study and family commitments will normally come first, but once you've worked out how much time you've got around these, you can then figure out how's best to use it. Your next step then is to figure out exactly what your goal is going to be. Now, as we said at the start, that might be something like a race or a sportive, but equally it could be something fitness-based, i.e. improving your power at threshold, or it could even be improving your time up a local climb or around a local circuit.
Now, if your goal is a particularly long-term one, it can really help to set smaller targets to help keep your enthusiasm going along the way. And remember, it's these goals that will help inspire you and motivate you to train. Now you've got a target, what is the best way to achieve it? So let's take, for example, a flat road race that generally ends in a bunch sprint. Then what you need to do is look at improving your power, or your maximum power, at the back end of a long ride.
Yeah, conversely, if you are targeting a time trial, then you'll want to do longer intervals, which will raise your power at that duration, hopefully getting you better on the event itself. Basically what we're saying is whatever your target, you need to break down the components of it so that you can tailor your training program to your own specific needs.
Kind of like horses for courses.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Now, in order for your body to make the necessary positive adaptations, it will need a regular training stress or stimulus. Just how regular will depend on how experienced a rider you are, but also how much time you've worked out you've got to give to cycling each day of the week.
Now, some people can easily train for 6 sessions a week, but if you're just starting out and you're holding down a regular 9-to-5 job or you're studying, we'd recommend 4 sessions a week. So harder sessions on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and at the weekend on a Saturday and Sunday, some longer, steadier rides when you've got a bit more time. It's always good to test your fitness before you start training to get a good indication of the level that you're currently at, and also help identify your strengths and your weaknesses.
Yeah, in the description below this video, you'll find a couple of links to videos which show the type of tests that we personally recommend. And doing them every 4 to 6 weeks will allow you to see whether or not your training plan is having the desired effect. And if it's not, it might be time to go back to the drawing board. About 4 to 6 weeks into your training plan, you should be starting to reap the rewards of all the hard work that you've put in, as your body makes its adaptations and it gets used to the training workload. However, unfortunately, it's at this point, once it's used to that workload, that you might need to start changing or increasing that stimulus.
Yeah, in terms of intervals, you can make the intervals longer. You can up the intensity by making them just that little bit harder, or alternatively, you can lessen the amount of recovery time in between the intervals themselves. And this is where the importance of regular testing really comes in, because knowing exactly where your boundaries are means you'll know exactly how far you can push yourself to make further improvements. While your time spent on the bike is crucially important when improving your performance, we find that many people completely underestimate the real value of rest.
We don't.
We certainly don't. Now, thanks Dan, the metabolic adaptations you get from training don't truly come about until you've got your feet up and you're resting post-ride.
Yeah, Matt's right. Athletes often find it very hard to rest, and that might be due to a lack of time to get that rest, or it could just be they feel that they're better served going back out on their bikes, but that's not always true. We recommend that if you've got time to sit still and do nothing, that often that is better than trying to get in more training. And at the very least, you should make sure that you get adequate sleep in at night, especially during periods of hard training. At night.
Oh, sorry. So there you are, follow these simple principles and you'll be well on your way to getting the performances and the results that you've been looking for. Now, for 5 killer sessions to slot right into your sportive training plan, how about clicking just up there?
However, if you're a little bit pressed for time, you might want to try this workout just down here. It's our 20-minute threshold session.
It is a bit of a killer actually, isn't it? It's a real leg burner. And to subscribe to GCN, as ever, you know what to do. Click on the globe. And don't forget to share and like this video too.